Hello and welcome back. So today we are doing a video on some door mechanisms. So I've had a few requests for this, so I've decided I'd finally get around to it, and apologies for the delays for all those people asking for it for so long. But we'll be doing 3 different sort of door mechanisms today, or at least that's what I've got it planned initially. If I add any more, then I guess I'll let you know, but for the most part I'll just show you what we're going to be making. We'll be doing a door mechanism much like this one, which has a indicator light indicating if it is locked and a button to open it, and then you come inside and then you can close it with the button on the other side, and then you can lock it like so with that. When you press the button, it will not open. Unlock it, button, it opens. And if I were to lock it from there, you can see that the indicator light goes red, meaning that the door is locked, and no matter how much you press the button, you cannot open it. So that's the first type of door we'll be doing, and we'll just move on over here and I'll show you the second type. So these ones are using the blast doors that are in game, and that's because I'd rather promote the use of blast doors over child entity doors that use sliders or rotators or hinges, as they add more child entities to the game, and in a multiplayer world, the less child entities, the better for everyone. So the next type of door we'll make is an airlock system, where you can press a button like so. One door will open. You can see that this indicator light is red, which is just sort of an indicator for myself, indicating if the room has oxygen in it or if the outer door is open. So you could have this indicator light, say, outside, and you can tell if this door is open by this indicator light. And if I press this, that will cycle the airlock. This goes green, and then this door opens. Like so. And you can also lock these, but I won't necessarily go too much into detail in the locking of these airlocks. But you can still press that, and then you can't open it. So that is the second type. And the third type is actually back over at the last ship, sorry about that. Fly over here, which is this one here. This one doesn't have any button on the outside, but inside the ship, if we just fly in, it has a single button, which does this. And it has a lock as well. And if I enable the lock, it will close it. And then no matter how much I press the button, it will not open. So let's get started. So this is where we'll be making our first door. So we've got a 2x2 area here for our blast door, a little area for our buttons and switches, and just a little area here for me to place down all my logic, which there won't be too much for this one, but nonetheless. So what you want to do is get your blast door, drag it to whatever size you want. In my case, I just like the 2x2 generally. So this one, we want a lockout switch, so that way we can lock the door, so that way no one can get in. And on the other side, we want an indicator light, so that way people can tell if the door is locked from the other side. You don't have to include the indicator light, that's just something I like to do. And this part's really easy, just link your switch for locking out to that, so that way when I turn on the switch, so that way the door is unlocked for green, the indicator light is green, and then if I turn it off then and lock the door, then that's it. That's all there is to it. So next up we'll just place our buttons. Like so, rotating with Q and E. And then there's not too much to this circuit. All you need really is another switch and an AND gate. So what you want to do is you get one of these logic gates, place it down, press F, open it up, and you're going to choose AND gate from amongst these. Then you get your linking tool, which is from in here, and you start linking stuff together. So AND gate is actually one of the endpoints that goes straight to the door. The buttons go to, well, one button goes to the switch, the other button goes to this button. You have to do a bit of daisy chaining sometimes. So we've got that button linked to this button, and this button linked to the switch. the switch goes to the AND gate, and this switch goes to the AND gate. Now, when I press the button, might take a few times to cycle it, there we are, then the door opens. And if I close it, like so, then if I lock it, making it go red, and try using this, then it won't work. So that's simply because the AND gate needs two positive signals basically. So this one here is a negative signal, to think of it like that, and this one is negative as well. Once we cycle the button, you can see this one goes positive, but this one is still negative, so unless both of these are green, then the door won't open. And you can actually add a lot more switches to this. So if you have a security room, say security room is up on the other side of the ship, you just need to link that switch to here, and then so long as you have this one green in the master security room, you could still use the door. But as soon as you need to lock down the ship, all doors in the ship can close. You can have this linked to every door on the ship through the AND gate, like so. On to the next one. So here we are with door number 2. This one's the airlock. So not everyone's going to want to do this one, but you can skip ahead if you want. But if you would like to learn how to do this, this is my design for it, using some other designs by the logic guy in the community, Towery, and I've sort of adapted it to make and suit my own needs. So you can use it if you like, no problems there, and we'll get started. So I made this little corridor here. I left the roof open so that way we can fly out if we get trapped. But as you can see, I've got a little area here for any switches inside, and then we've got 2 areas for our blast doors. Now you don't have to use blast doors for these airlocks, you keep that in mind. You can change it out at the end, which I'll show you how to do. So we'll just place our blast doors though, because I find using those are the most efficient thing to do. It looked like it went from the top there, but if you open it, you'll find that it just does still go to the side. But anyway, so this one here, we're going to want to start with 2 buttons. So this is sort of a left and a right side circuit, and you'll sort of get what I mean once I start going. So 2 buttons, and we want to place down one of our logic gates. So logic gate, and we're going to need timer gates for this one here too. So then we leave our logic gate as an OR gate. These are actually our input buttons. So this one is for the outer door of the airlock. So we'll pretend that this here is inside the spaceship, and this is outside the spaceship. So this one's for our outer door, which is out here, and this one's for our inner door, which is in there, that door there. So we'll say that's inside the spaceship once you're inside. Moving on from there, we need a timer gate, and we'll just place down a lot of stuff initially if you like, and then we'll link it all together at the end. We're going to need 3 switches. This one is our state switch, so that will be if the doors are open or if it's closed. This one will be our lockout switch, so that way we can lock the airlock, so that way no one can get in or out from either side. And this one will be our enable switch, so we can have that turned on, and we can have the entire airlock open, both doors at the same time. That's sort of like, imagine you need to get cargo through and you don't care if the ship is pressurized or not. So place down some more things. Here we need a NOR gate, then we need another timer. Here we need an OR gate, which is already on. Here we need an AND gate, which is this one here. And it's similar on the other side, except you don't need a NOR gate at the top. So we need an OR gate there and a timer here. So just make sure you've got it looking like this so far. And then next we need another gate and another gate, and then 2 more buttons. So make both of these NOR gates. I'm not really sure why this is the case. I feel like it should work in other ways, but this is actually how I managed to get it working. So I've sort of stuck with this design for now. If there's a better way, I'm sure other people can tell you in the comments. And then we'll add another piece later on if you guys want it, so that way you don't have to add it if you don't want to. So now we'll start linking some stuff together. So both the buttons go to the OR gate. The OR gate goes to the timer, and this timer goes to this switch. Now, this one's keeping track with this one because I usually forget a step here, and then it doesn't usually work properly. Link the switch to the NOR gate on the left track, and link the switch to both the timer and the OR gate on the right track. So that's basically everything that this switch should be linked to, except for later on we'll link it to another thing, but we'll do that later. So this is our NOR gate. We link this to the timer, and we link it to our OR gate. We link the timer here to the OR gate as well, and make sure you've done it on this side as well. So this switch should be linked to this here, and this here, and the NOR gate. And then both timers on these tracks should be linked to the OR gates beneath them. This switch should be linked to the OR gates, and the OR gates should be linked to the AND gates beneath them. This switch should be linked to the AND gates, and the AND gates should be linked to the NOR gates beneath them, and then the NOR gates to the buttons. Now if you like, you can actually paint this stuff just to help keep track of some things. I usually like to paint this middle one red because that's our lockout switch, and I like to paint this one a light blue usually. Oh, not that one. That one there, a sort of turquoisey colour, which is our enable gate. So you just want to switch this one to on because we want our airlock to work. So that's most of our airlock. Next, you need to start linking stuff. Now, I may have actually forgotten which side. I think we said this was outside, and I think we wanted this here to be our outside track. So we link this button to this door, and we link this button to our inside door. Now if we want to add our buttons to the actual airlock, so I've got a button here to open. We can have as many buttons as we want inside, doesn't matter, we'll have one for each end. And then we want another button as well on this side. Then pretty simply, you have to do a little bit of daisy chaining for our outer door. We'll link this button to this button, and then this button to our outer door track. And then similarly for the inside. Like so. Now, this should nearly be working, but we'll just add some times into it. This timer doesn't really matter for now, but these ones, this is how long it will take for this door to close, and then a timer, and then for this door to open. Sort of like an airlock. So that way this door can close, air can get pushed into the room, and then this door can open. So I usually like about 2 seconds, I think. We'll make it 3. Like so. Now, we'll just give this a test. Sometimes it takes a few tries to get it to start working properly. So there goes that one. That was about 3 seconds. So then if I come in here and I press this button, this should close. A moment later, this should open. So there we have it. Pretty functional airlock. Now, if you do want the sort of immersion of the room being pressurized and a little indicator light, like I had in my example. You can have your little indicator lights. I like to have them on both sides. And then what you're going to want to do is add 2 more things to this circuit. Usually I just have them off to the side. You need another logic gate, make it a NOR gate, and then a timer. Link this switch, the first switch, to the NOR gate to the timer, and then timer to these. Now, if I cycle it, might take a try or 2 to get working. Cool, so it should be sort of primed now. It's done a cycle and it's sort of done its thing to get it working. I usually like to do about just under half of the time, or just over half the time of the entire circuit to process. So we'll say about 2 seconds. Actually, 1.5. Just make it straight in the middle. So then if I press the button, this should stay red for 1.5 seconds, turn green, and then 1.5 seconds later that door should open. Come in here, close it, 1.5 seconds, red, 1.5 seconds, open. This is outside space, remember, and this is inside our ship. So as you can see from here, that door is now open to space. Now, I usually like to add 2 more switches in here. One for locking the doors, in case you want to lock yourself in the airlock for whatever reason, and another one to open all the doors. So I'll just get my paint. That one blue, and that one red. And then all you have to do for this one, red is easy, just straight to the red. And same with the blue, straight to this blue switch. Now, if I press this, I should close those doors. And then even if I press these buttons, nothing should happen. Yes, the lights cycled in the circuit, but nothing else happened. And you have to unlock, this door should open because that's what it got to in the cycling of the circuit. Like so. Now if you want both doors open, just press that. Too easy, right? On to the next circuit. Okay, here we are with the one you've probably been waiting for. This one is to do with using the actual mechanism blocks in the game. So for this one we'll just be doing a sliding rail. If you want any other sort of door tutorials or any other sort of mechanism tutorials, just let me know and we'll go over those as well. So we'll be using the sliding rail. Make sure you don't grab the add-on because that one won't work straight away. You have to place the sliding rail first, and if you reach the maximum length of this, that's when you add the sliding rail add-on. This is just to extend it past this one's maximum length, but we won't be doing that because we're not doing anything more than 16 blocks. So I've sort of made a little frame here, and I think I would like to put this up here. So make sure you're looking at the roof, click and hold and drag to the length that you desire. I think I want mine to be about there. So that's 9 meters long from there. This one started in this gap, and this one doesn't go all the way into this gap. Now if you just get an empty hand, I guess, maybe not. If you look at it just right, it should go blue, and then if you press F on it, you should be able to move it yourself. That panel there, that's what we need to build off to make this door work. So you can sort of build your door a little bit if you want, but we won't be building too much just in case I need to get through the door. So we'll just build a little bit here. Say that... Okay, actually, sorry, we actually need to figure out if we want this to be the open or closed position. So I'm going to make this one the... let's move it back to the other position. I'll just slide. And we'll go a little bit finicky sometimes. We've just made it 8 by 2 there. We could go all the way down to the floor, but just so that way you can see that it is moving and the size of the door, like so. So it doesn't go all the way in here. And unlike the slider block above it, we didn't go all the way to the end. That just adds a little bit of leeway with our design. Now, in a lot of ways, this is actually very simple. Because of the way we've made it, we could potentially just add a switch, link it to the slider rail, and flip the switch. Now, because it is quite a big door, it might take a while. As you can see here, still going. And because I embedded it by 1 extra in this direction for the sliding rail, it now lines up perfectly flush with this. But let's just say you've done something a little bit more complicated. So you've got 2 of these meeting each other, or something else, and you want to make your circuit a little bit more special. Or say we don't want it to go all the way in. Say we want it to stick out by 1/2 meter to this point just here. That's when you start using things like sequencer gates. So we'll design a door much like the very first one we did over there. So we've got our little pad here. We'll have our lock, and we'll have our button to cycle it. So we need another switch, and we need an AND gate. Ooh. Sometimes this happens, it's a bug, but the developer and I can't consistently recreate it for some reason, so we haven't actually been able to get rid of it just yet. So if that happens, don't worry about it. Just open it up and put it to the one that you need, and it should fix it up. So from there, we can actually go to a sequencer gate, which is this one here with the 2 arrows. Just find it in here. That's this one here, sequencer gate. So if you open the sequencer gate, nothing will happen because I haven't linked it to anything yet. If you link it to your slider though, you should get this. So as you can see, it is an 8 meter rail, which sounds about right. Actually, I think I remember it being 9 meters, but oh well. And we don't actually know if it's in its off state at the moment or not. So actually there used to be a way of just looking at this and it would come up on the side if it was off or on state, but that's been temporarily removed, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But no matter, we'll make our off state, we want it to stick out by 1/2 meter to there, and we want our on state to be 8 meters. So 1/2 meter on this side, or fully closed when it's turned on. Now all we have to do is link stuff together. We want this to the AND gate to the sequencer, this switch to the AND gate, this is our lockout switch, which we turn on. Oh, not that that matters yet. And then we want this to here. So we actually got the values the other way around, but that doesn't really matter. Actually it does. So we'll just switch this around. We want 8 meters here, and we want 0.5 here. So we'll just try that now. Might take a few presses. This is actually the wrong way around. Maybe I did have it the right way around. Sorry about that. 3rd time's lucky, right? So we'll try this again. So turning off, we want it closed. Takes a minute. And that's actually the wrong way around. So what we want to do is we want to make this one 0 and this one 7.5. Now if I press this, this one should go here to about 1/2 meter, so 1/2 block should be sticking out on the side here instead of going all the way in like it used to. Like so. Just so that way people know there's a door there maybe. And if we press the button again, it should close all the way this time. So there's a little bit of fiddling around, but it's a little bit easier once we get that UI back, which tells us the state of the slider, and then if it's off, if it's on, and its current position. But we don't have that at the moment, so we'll just have to make do with a little bit of fiddling around. As you can see, it's now like that, fully closed. And then if we press this lockout switch, it should stay that way, regardless of me pressing this button. Lock again, like so. Too easy. So we've made 3 doors today. We've made our simple door, which has a normal button, which isn't working all of a sudden. This is why we've got our security room lockout switch. I didn't see that one. Now if we try it, it should open and close with our lockout switch, which won't work, like so. And then we've also got the security room one, which will also lock every door on the ship if we wanted. So we could potentially drag this to other doors and gates, and then we can potentially lock them all that way. We also made an airlock with a little room pressurization light. Pretty simple. And also do note that you can just drag this switch to an indicator light, like these ones, and then you can tell if the door is locked or not. Actually, we'll just do that as an example now, real quick. Not a very clean video, but I think you get the idea. We'll just add one of these indicator lights here, and then we'll drag. Oh, we can't just actually drag this one directly. We would have to add in a NOR gate to inverse the signal. So this switch to here, and then this to here. Now if I do this, oh, we've got this enabled. We have to do that. So now it's back to its normal circuitry. This is outside, so it's open, so it's red. If we cycle it, green, this door should open. Then if we lock this, bring it here, both doors are closed. And this here is green, indicating, oh no, this here is red, indicating that the doors are locked. Then if I were to manually unlock it, this goes to green, meaning it is now unlocked. As you can see, this one is now open. And then our last one, which is this one here, which is just a simple one using a slider mechanism. So if you need any other examples of things that you can build or do things with in the game, just mess around. Otherwise you can come to me, ask me what you're trying to do, and I'll try to help you out. So I hope this video has been helpful to anyone, and I'll see you in the next one.